In a war where every drone, missile, and warplane counts, Russia has just unleashed a strike of staggering proportions. Following Ukraine's daring deep strike drone raid into Russia's heartland just days earlier, Moscow has answered with thunder, and the consequences have been devastating. So what triggered this response? How did Russia execute such a massive attack? And what does this mean for the future of Ukrainian air power? Let's break it down. On the night of June 9, 2025, Ukraine's skies were ignited by the roar of engines and the buzz of hundreds of Shahed drones, nearly 500 in total, marking the single largest aerial barrage since the war began. 479 Shahed drones and 20 missiles streaked across Ukrainian skies in one massive overnight operation. Ukrainian air defense systems, seasoned by over 2 years of non-stop conflict, leapt into action. In a feat of defensive coordination, they managed to intercept 460 drones and 19 missiles, a staggering success rate on paper. But it wasn't enough. Despite Ukraine's best efforts, some projectiles broke through, striking the Dubno Airfield, just 60 kilometers from the Polish border. The damage was immediate and significant. 4 MiG-29 fighter jets and 1 F-16 were obliterated. Infrastructure across the airfield suffered severe damage. The symbolism was unmistakable. This wasn't just an airfield. Dubno is a key tactical aviation hub, crucial for supporting Ukrainian operations both in the west and along active front lines. And its close proximity to NATO territory caused alarms to sound not just in Kyiv, but in Warsaw as well. In fact, Poland scrambled its own fighter jets in response, fearing the conflict might spill across its borders. The line between local conflict and regional crisis continues to blur. But why Dubno? And why now? This attack was no coincidence. It came just 8 days after Ukraine's Operation Spiderweb, a bold and highly coordinated drone strike deep into Russian territory. Targets included the Belaya Air Base in the Irkutsk region, almost 3,000 miles from Ukraine's front lines. That operation disabled or damaged several of Russia's strategic bombers. Moscow's response? Clear and calculated. According to the Russian Ministry of Defense, this airfield strike was a successful reprisal, and as far as Moscow is concerned, every intended target was hit. To truly understand what makes this strike so significant, we have to examine the tools Moscow used and the tactics behind them. At the heart of this attack were the Shahed drones, Iranian-designed loitering munitions, often called kamikaze drones. Once launched, these drones roam the skies autonomously until they identify and strike a target, self-destructing on impact. But here's what made this strike different: the sheer scale. 479 drones launched simultaneously, supported by 20 precision-guided crews and ballistic missiles. This was not just a bombardment. It was a calculated saturation tactic, meant to overwhelm Ukraine's layered air defenses by sheer volume. Ukraine's radar systems lit up with hundreds of targets. Command centers had to make split-second decisions. Which drones to prioritize? Where would the missiles hit? Which were decoys? And which carried deadly payloads? In this fog of war, even a near-perfect interception rate wasn't enough. A few drones getting through was all it took. The damage at Dubno proved that. But let's talk about these Shahed drones for a moment. They're inexpensive, mass-produced, and devastating when used in swarms. Hence, this strike makes something else clear. Unmanned aerial warfare is no longer the future, it's the present. With nearly 500 drones deployed in a single night, Russia just demonstrated how low-cost technology, when used in overwhelming numbers, can punch holes even in NATO-assisted defense systems. Add precision missile strikes into the mix, and the tactic becomes doubly effective. Ukraine's air defense, much of it Western supplied, performed with remarkable efficiency. But even layered defense networks have breaking points. This time, Russia found them. The loss of aircraft at Dubno is no small matter. Every MiG-29 destroyed is a blow to Ukraine's dwindling fleet. But the destruction of an F-16? That's a strategic and symbolic hit. The F-16 isn't just another aircraft. It represents the Western commitment to Ukraine's modernization. It's fast, versatile, and capable of integrating advanced NATO weaponry. Its destruction is a clear signal. No weapon system is untouchable. The MiG-29s, while older, have formed the backbone of Ukraine's air defense since the war began. Their loss reduces Ukraine's capacity for interception missions, air support, and strike operations. And while replacements may be possible, maintenance and pilot readiness are ongoing challenges, especially when infrastructure is crippled. Because let's not forget, it wasn't just aircraft that were hit. Runways, hangars, fuel depots, and radar installations at Dubno were also damaged. The airfield's operational tempo has likely been disrupted, which means fewer sorties and longer turnaround times. This opens new vulnerabilities, especially in western Ukraine, an area previously considered relatively insulated from direct attacks. It's a shift in the battlefield map, and a warning that no location is truly safe anymore. But the implications go beyond material loss. This strike was also psychological. It served as a bold reminder from Moscow: for every drone Ukraine sends to strike deep in Russia, the response will be tenfold louder, larger, and more lethal. And it's working. The timing of the strike coinciding with ongoing prisoner exchanges and frozen peace talks is no accident. Russia is signaling that military strength, not negotiation, remains the dominant language of this war. Strategically, this attack may have tilted the balance at least temporarily in Russia's favor. Ukraine must now divert resources to replace lost aircraft, repair infrastructure, and reinforce airfields that were previously considered safe. But there's a danger for Russia too. Such escalations almost certainly invite more Western support for Ukraine, especially in advanced air defense systems. Already, Kyiv is pleading for more Patriots, more IRIS-Ts, and more modern radar arrays to counter the drone swarm threat. And with battlefield technology evolving at a blistering pace, both sides find themselves in an ever-tightening arms race, one measured in drones, missiles, and megabytes of surveillance data. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.